Welcome back to Assembly Update. I'm Assemblymember Angelo Santabarbara. You can find me on Facebook or follow me on Twitter under ASM Santa Barbara, or find me on Instagram under Assemblyman Santa Barbara. I have district office in the city of Schenectady and in the city of Amsterdam. You can find me at either one of those two locations by phone or by email at santabarbara@assembly.state.ny.us. Welcome back to Assembly Update. We are going to welcome our second guest from the Schenectady Foundation in the Schenectady part of my district, Robert Carew, who is the Executive Director of the Schenectady Foundation. Bob, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
We were just talking a little bit about the Schenectady Foundation, and I know you're doing a lot of things that have an amazing impact across the community. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role there and what the Schenectady Foundation is doing?
Sure. Yeah, well, the Schenectady Foundation, we got started about 50 years ago, and it's kind of an interesting, quick little story. So community leaders got together and just began to acquire assets over a long period of time, and the assets get reinvested back into the community. We grew from a time when the leaders got around the table and they said, okay, whose turn is it to write the check? Because there was no money in the bank. Until today, when we have close to $40 million that gets invested, and then we take the earnings on that and put it back into the community. So we can make, in this last year, we made over $2 million in investments back into the community. And we're really focused on how do we advance the well-being of the residents of Schenectady County, and looking at how do we improve the neighborhoods, how do we improve the community, how do we build opportunity for young people and community residents. So that's really our focus, is how do we strengthen families and strengthen the people of Schenectady. And
some of the investments that you've made to date, and maybe some of the recent ones you can talk about, what types of projects or what types of investments are we talking about?
Yeah, well, it runs the gamut. I mean, we've recently made a major $1 million commitment in what we call the Schenectady Bridges Partnership. And what that is, it's a multi organization collaboration that's trying to provide a holistic way that we can support people to move out of kind of under-resourced, I don't want to say poverty because it's not always poverty, it's some kind we have working class people who are struggling. So how to move from kind of an under-resourced situation to where their lives are improved and their children's opportunities for the future are better. And that incorporates things like how do we work with employers to support people to get into jobs where they can earn a living wage and sustain that despite the fact that they've got a lot of other challenges in their lives. And so what's really exciting there is it's not just sort of a social services program, if you wish, of putting people into jobs. It's we work with the employer and the person going into the job to actually keep them in that job and productive, which is a win for the employer, it's a win for the community, it's a win for the community member. So that's just gotten off the ground within the last year. We already have, I believe we have about a dozen employers signed up, and they are all investing, so it's not just a giveaway to them. They believe that this has value to their companies. So it's very much a partnership between the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector to make that work. But we've also done things just where we do respond to needs. So in the last year, we were one of the organizers around the Weekend Backpack Program. And so, you know, what that is all about is in the Schenectady City School District, we have a lot of kids who are just, there's a lot of food insecurity. Teachers were noting kids coming to school, being tired, having no energy, and they were hungry. And that's not going to help them in the school setting, you know. So the Weekend Backpack Program, we have MVP Healthcare involved in that, supporting it, CEFCU, the City Mission, the Regional Food Bank, Schenectady Foundation all came together. And so we've identified about 700 kids in elementary schools in Schenectady, city of Schenectady, who we provide a backpack on Fridays. Friday afternoons, they pick up their backpack, it's got nutritious food in it that is not just for them, it actually helps their whole family. And the interesting thing is not only do we know that they're going to have food on the weekend, they're going to have something to eat, but attendance has improved.
For Monday.
Kids show up Friday and Monday, and those kids and their families are actually much more engaged. So, we're actually trying to work at measuring the outcomes of this. So we hope to see not just nutritional value, but actually some impact on their education.
Now, Bob, you mentioned partners in this, and the
Yeah.
backpack program is a good example, because I was there and I saw the partners come in and talk about how excited and how happy they were to be a part of that program. Is the Schenectady Foundation sort of the catalyst to bring these partners to the table?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the role that's emerged for us, and it wasn't necessarily one we sought out, but we identified that actually going back, and you remember this probably so well, about 3 years ago when Hurricane Irene hit, and after that Lee, and in particular some areas like Rotterdam Junction were affected, and there was no existing entity to kind of bring organizations together for long-term recovery. They're short-term. Municipalities have a responsibility, county had a responsibility, but in terms of like the year and a half, 2 years it took for a lot of families to come back, there wasn't really an organization in charge of that. And so we came to the table, City Mission, Community Action Program, Catholic Charities, Habitat for Humanity, many others, congregations came together, and we sort of became the clearinghouse, if you would, for resources for these families to rebuild. So that taught us a lesson, that actually there is a role here. We knew we needed a catalyst, we need an organizer. So that's certainly something that we're continuing to build on, and recognizing the value of partnership. There's so many better outcomes when we work together, rather than sort of everyone staying in their silo and working independently on their programs.
And things that benefit the community sort of benefit everyone, including the partners that are involved or investing in whatever program it is.
Absolutely. And what you see where partnerships are working, like the backpack or the flood recovery or the bridges program, is that everyone gets to bring to the table what they do best. And so you don't have to go off and invent a new skill and try to do something that you're not really good at. Just say, that's a partner who can do it. Let's work together. And the lessons learned is, wow, that's powerful, right? And it's efficient, and it's effective. And then you start embedding kind of a culture of partnership in the community, where it's sort of become what's expected. And it's not okay anymore just to kind of go off and do your thing. We all understand we're in this together.
And it is making a difference. You talked about measuring with the backpack program. Are there any, with each of your projects, are you seeing a measurement? Are you saying we started here, but we're ending up here?
Yeah, I think that's still sort of, it's happening to some extent.
Yeah.
But it's sort of there's a spectrum of effectiveness there. We're working on it. Part of it is trying to teach organizations how to do this and do it consistently, because it's not always something that is already part of the culture of the organization. So some you see it. If you go to Ellis Medicine, big sophisticated organization, they have a lot of measurements. School district has a lot of measurements. Sure. Smaller community-based organizations that we're trying to engage, they can tell you, how many people they serve. They can't always tell you what the real outcomes of their interventions are. So we understand that's a learning process. In the Schenectady Bridges partnership, we've engaged Union Graduate College as a partner. So they have graduate students working with us to help us understand, okay, what are the outcomes we're trying to get? How do we measure that? And how do we put it all together so we say there's actually collective impact? Yeah. And so it's going to be a learning process for some of that.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. And the more I learned about Schenectady Foundation, the more excited I was about it. And I did attend your conference last year, and I know there's grants and scholarships that you're also involved with. These are things that impact the community as well. I know you have a Facebook page, and what's the best way for people to get involved and just learn more about Schenectady Foundation?
Sure. Well, go to our website, schenectadyfoundation.org. It's a lot of information there. We do have a Facebook page, or just email us. Get me at racarreau@schenectadyfoundation.org, or give us a call, 393-9500, and we'll find a way to get you engaged. We do have this Bridges to Youths project that we're about to launch, a call to action to the community. That's still emerging, but we already have a lot of partners around the table on that. We had yesterday a meeting with 30 organizations sitting around the room saying, how are we going to come together around an agenda to advance our young people?
That's very impressive to have that many people participating in a discussion like that, and certainly good things are going to come from it. If you don't know about the Schenectady Foundation, I encourage people to get involved and learn more about it and find ways that you can help. Are there any other events coming up? I know you had some other things that you were involved with, a transformational grant as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple things. People, how do they want to get involved? Of course, we are always open for contributions. That's very helpful, and you can donate to us online. Or more directly, so that's there. It's right on our website. But we're also encouraging volunteerism. It's just another resource, another asset that we can deploy into the community. And so we are establishing, it's just in its infancy, but what we're calling a volunteer clearinghouse. And that's working with the Schenectady Bridges Partnerships, and in this case, City Mission has really taken the lead on this. And we don't have a website on that yet, but it's close to being activated, where we can get people to say, here's what I want to do and here's what I'm good at, and we can say, okay, here's an organization or a program that you're a great fit for. Let's get you connected with them. So that hopefully is going to generate a lot more volunteer activity, but more effective volunteer activity, because we'll actually give people something to do that they're really passionate about and then they can be really good at.
And it's a great way to find resources, and also, you're right, direct them and make a powerful impact in whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
That's great to hear that you're doing that, taking the lead on that as well. Again, I think we're very fortunate to have an organization like this doing such great work in the community.
Well, we love what we do, and you know, it's the great story is that we're going to be around for a very long time because it's a very sustainable model. You know, we're basically self-funding, and the more money that's contributed, the more we can put back into the community. And you know, when you do good things, you know this, when you do good things come from that. Yeah. So we just see this as spilling out. The more good that we do, the more people will be supportive of it, and then even more we can do down the road.
That's great, and we have seen good things happen in Schenectady County, and hopefully that trend will continue. Yeah. And I think it will continue. And we're seeing a lot of improvements across the entire county, and certainly Schenectady Foundation is part of that. I want to thank you for taking the lead and bringing those partners together and making an impact across the area. If you haven't had a chance to explore the Schenectady Foundation, visit the Facebook page. Give a call, stop in, talk to Bob. I'd be happy to talk to you more about it. Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for what you do for our communities. Join us again here on Assembly Update. We'll talk more about great organizations like the Schenectady Foundation and things happening in your community. Join us again. Thank you.
All right.
Good. Yeah.
Good. Thanks.